So Major League Baseball and the National Basketball Association, the MLB and NBA, respectively, have taken a dip in the ratings since both leagues have started up play. The Major League Baseball season, of course, delayed by COVID-19. Things supposed to get underway around the 1st of April, pushed back all the way to midsummer, almost August. The National Basketball Association took a hiatus with COVID-19. Season in full swing toward the back end, getting ready for the playoff push in March when things were put on the back burner. They restarted it up with a new season to be played, or a resumption of a season with a new format, I should say, in Orlando under the NBA bubble. I'm Matt Levine, and I'm here to talk about the dip in the ratings and explain why I think that's happening. So let's get to it. Thanks for joining me here on the 954sports.com YouTube channel. Happy to have you aboard. Lots of videos to check out. Please do hit a like and subscribe. I appreciate your support as always. So let's talk about it. This is the old tube, right? Literally. 1979 Panasonic. I had the same model in white. Yes, that's a television from back in the day. They've certainly gotten a lot nicer and more advanced televisions. It's quite amazing, right? Anyway, ratings on opening night for the National Basketball Association, solid. Jerry West, the man in the logo, are always in forever. The NBA enjoyed a blockbuster opening night, had about $3.5 million for the marquee matchup between the Los Angeles squads and the Lakers and Clippers, respectively. The follow-up was the Pelicans and Jazz, drew about 2.1 million viewers. But since then, things have spiraled a bit downward. For instance, the NBA's first batch of 10 games, 9 of the first 10 saw 1.4 million viewers. The next 10 games, only 3 of those games did that well, with about 1.5 million viewers. They've taken a dip. The NBA ratings were struggling prior to COVID-19, which is interesting. For instance, in February, the ratings were down 12% compared to February of 2018 and 19. Those were ratings for all the networks. NBA games on ABC in particular, the broadcast network that does the NBA Finals, were down 16%. Before they took the hiatus in March, the ratings were down 4%. They've struggled. As for Major League Baseball, well, things started off in smashing fashion. Came out swinging. They had record viewership for their opening night game about 2 weekends ago on a Saturday, with the Yankees Nationals had 4 million view. But since then, the ratings have gone south. For instance, the Fox televised games for Major League Baseball regionally last Thursday did a cumulative rating of 1.49 million viewers, just under. The lowest viewership window since September 21 of 2018. So like I said, I'm going to explain why. The inquisitive nature of being a journalist, you look at the W's and the H how. You always look at why, right? Well, I'll tell you why I think it is, and I'll explain further. For one, for the first time ever, sports has gone hand in hand with politics. It used to be, at least for me, the beauty of sports were that no matter what happened in your day, with the job, with life, with politics, with social issues, with what's going on in your community, maybe in your state, your county, in the world. And there's lots of that right now, right? A lot of it. We live in a very, very troubled world. Speak about that all night, ad infinitum, as they say. But you can deposit all that at the door. You can plop down in your lazy boy like I do, maybe pop open a cold one, and just forget everything. Get in your zone and just watch sports. That was the beauty of sports. But now they've gone and done mixed politics into it. And as the great speed skater, Mr. Eric Heiden, said, a tremendous speed skater at that, won 5 medals in the Olympics in 1980 at Lake Placid. And to be a speed skater, you've got to be one outstanding athlete. Incorporates stamina, endurance, finesse. I enjoy watching that sport every 4 years. I really do. This guy just said it right, man. You don't mix sports and politics. And both leagues have successfully gone ahead and done that. Not to mention, it suddenly became fair game to take a knee for the national anthem. And to me, when you do that, you completely disrespect these guys, our veterans. God bless each and every one of them. All the men and women, past and present, serving our armed forces in pockets around the world to protect our freedom. And when you go to a game on any level and you hear that national anthem play, at least I do, I stand at attention. I put my right hand over the left side of my chest, over my heart. And for a minute and 20 seconds or whatever it is, 90 seconds, you salute the ones who have fought to give you freedom. Now, in not doing that, and taking a knee, and I understand there's a cause and there's a reason for taking a knee, but that to me supersedes what the national anthem stands for, and there are plenty of platforms to be able to drive home your point that you're trying to make with taking a knee, right? There are plenty of other platforms. And these athletes who are so blessed to be able to do what they do and live in a free democratic society with a democracy in the United States that gives them the ability to make millions of dollars playing a sport and live the good life. Essentially, take a dump all over that by kneeling. Just not the right thing to do. There's a time and place to get your point across. Why it has to, get in the way of the national anthem makes no sense to me. You know, it's like a collision, like a crash, T-bone. But the National Basketball Association, they did it in full force. Both leagues supporting politics and Black Lives Matter. Went all in. NBA painted the court. Major League Baseball put the logo on the mound. The players kneeled. The leagues went all in to support a political group. And it's interesting, the decision to support Black Lives Matter. To me, it's almost like when two people meet and they rush into a wedding within a couple days. Hop a plane, get in the car, go to Vegas. Just met 16 hours ago. I'm not talking about the movie with Cameron Diaz or The Hangover. I'm talking about real couples that would rush in and go do that right away. That's what it seems to me that professional sports almost did with rushing into a political group like Black Lives Matter. Any political group. You know what? I don't care if they were politicizing bacon, lettuce, tomato. Yes, the t-shirt does exist. If you're going for BLT or BLM, it doesn't matter to me. Politics don't belong. One more time, Eric Hyden. Sports and politics don't mix. No siree. They certainly don't. And it's interesting that Major League Baseball and the NBA go all in with Black Lives Matter. A group that admittedly pushes a Marxist agenda, which probably would not support, not probably, would definitely not support athletes like this who make millions and live lavish lifestyles. I don't think in a Marxist society that would play out well. They also look to dismantle history. They support anti-Semitism against religions like the Jews. Look at Israel as an apartheid state. They do not believe in the nuclear family. And I'm not the only one to point this out. In fact, folks in sports have pointed it out in their own way. Folks like Giants pitcher Sam Coonrod, a reliever. Look at his quote, "I'm a Christian," like I said, when answering why he didn't kneel. I just can't get on board with a couple of things I've read about Black Lives Matter, how they lean towards Marxism, and they've said some negative things about the nuclear family. Marcellus Wiley, a well-spoken, really smart guy. Dude played 10 years in the NFL, Pro Bowler. I always like when I see him on the TV. And before all this happened, when the politics and sports intertwine themselves, and COVID-19, and it's been an incredibly crazy summer, to say the least. In general, I always liked his commentary. But he took exception to a few things. There he is with his beautiful family that Black Lives stood for and their mission statement. And he was quoted as saying, "There's a problem when you start to go down this road." He talks about identity politics. I'll read you the quote. "There's a problem when you start to go down this road of freedom of expression, freedom of speech." And this is due to the NBA painting the courts with Black Lives Matter. He took exception to that earlier in the summer. I'm going to read it over. I'm sorry. Interrupted myself. "There's a problem when you start to go down this road of freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and how much social space is allowed for those who don't support the same space." That's where I wonder where this is going to go in terms of identity politics. Identity politics. We know what identity politics does. It divides. It polarizes. God bless you, Marcus Wiley. A well-spoken gentleman and a great football player. Meanwhile, this is Herschel Walker. His stand against kneeling. Guys want to kneel. Guys want to talk about their First Amendment rights. Well, your First Amendment rights should be, I want to stand up for our military. So these are professional athletes who are talking about why they're disgruntled with some of the decisions that these sports leagues have made. I'm a fan. I'm a journalist, sportscaster. I'm not happy with any of it. You can bet your bottom dollar that a lot of folks in America are not happy with this. And the interesting thing to think about too is, these leagues, they have brass ones because They're doing this in front of empty stands. There's no one to boo. There's no consequences. They can basically do what they want, and they are. COVID-19 has taken that element away from sports. It will be interesting, though, to see if sports do eventually come around. I don't know if they'll ever be the same. It will be interesting to see the fans' reaction to the leagues supporting political groups and importing politics into sports and taking away the beauty of sports providing the ultimate stress reliever. Suddenly, it's in-your-face politics intertwined with the world of sports. You might just get a reaction like this. Not only are the politics and the issue like kneeling for the flag prevalent in sports today. I mentioned the significance of Black Lives Matter and taking a supportive approach to anti-Semitism. And anti-Semitism, another factor, it has been so prevalent in the world of sports, almost in vogue this spring into summer. Guys like this jerk off. Sean Jackson quoting fake Hitler quotes. Even more recent, there's a Coach Christensen of the Oakland A's last week. Player makes a good play. What's he do? Gives the Nazi salute. See it right there. When asked about it, he basically said, I didn't mean anything by it. No consequences. No fans to boo. Seems like they can almost get away with anything these days. It's a changing world of sports. Politics have muddied things up, to say the least. And it certainly makes it hard for yours truly to just relax, unwind, forget about life for a while, and enjoy sports the way I used to.